Our lifestyle correspondent, Megan Mooney, she's out at the Wentworth Gallery. This morning, she's getting up close and personal with the work of the most famous living contemporary artists. We'll see her after the break.
Welcome back to Great Day Washington. So he may be the most famous contemporary living artist today, and Peter Max is making his way to the DMV this weekend. On Saturday, he's going to be at the Wentworth Gallery, Tyson's Galleria, as well as the Montgomery Mall. This morning, I'm out live at the Tyson's Galleria Wentworth Gallery, getting all of the exclusives on the paintings that you want to see yourselves because they're unbelievable. And I'm here with Brian, who is the assistant gallery director. Brian, you know the artist super well. Tell me about him.
I do. Peter Max is one of the most personal people I've ever met. He always says, I want to see everybody's smiling face at the events. This event this coming Saturday night is going to be amazing. I know he'd want everybody at the show, and hopefully they'll get to learn more about Peter and about his collection.
And take something home.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, walk us through a couple of these pieces of artwork. Let's start with this one.
Well, this is the Cosmic Runner. So here you have a figure effortlessly bounding over a planet Earth in this case. And so here you have a line style. So when they came out with the new pen in the 1960s that allowed artists to continuously draw a single line without lifting it up, before that they had fountain pens that would kind of snag on unconventional materials or even paper sometimes. He was the very first person in the world to pick up on the possibilities of that and draw these images. And so he was able to create this whole image in a single line.
And this became a postage stamp too. He was known for making his artwork into other materials, other pieces of products. Tell me about this one in particular.
Right. This is the Love. This was one of his very first posters, and this sold over 1 million copies the first time he ever made it. So when they came out with new poster printing methods in the late 1960s, Peter was the first again to latch onto the possibilities of that and bring his art to the masses. So he was able to give the world his art in an affordable way.
Very love, groovy, far out,
yes,
people who...
Exactly. Peace and love, higher consciousness, that whole era.
And people who are fans of, pop art or psychedelic illustration or what have you really do appreciate him, but he's also known for his color. Walk me through this painting.
This is the Four Seasons Suite. So here we have the seasons, the story of the seasons told through color. So you have the winter, you have the spring, the summer, and you have the autumn. But it's very subtly here, just as a slow transition of color. And this is from his Expressionist period. You can see he's just, again, it's enthusiastic, it's optimistic. It's about how the world, the environment, how everything is tied together, and how we're all just, that's what Peter's art's all about. It's this explosion of color.
And he's also all about philanthropy. Can you talk to us about this one?
This is the Better World. It was done for the Better World Foundation that was started by Ted Turner, and many other celebrities have been participants in this foundation. He raised millions of dollars for it with this piece. It's entitled Better World. Here you have Mother Nature and the sun and the four elements coming together. You have earth, wind, and fire, right? Fire from the sun. Wind is powering our little sailboat there, and then the earth with the trees.
You are a fountain of information, Brian, and this is not all that we're going to get from him. We have more content coming up about Peter Max, and again, you want to see Peter Max on Saturday here at the Wentworth Gallery, Tyson's Galleria, because there's also not just these paintings that we've seen over the decades, but also brand new pieces that are straight off of that tripod. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a little bit. For now, though, we'll back to you guys. And I'm hanging with Brian, who's the assistant gallery director here at Wentworth Gallery. Tell me about this piece about Peter Max.
This is Vincent van Gogh. Peter's been likened to a lot of famous artists through history. Vincent van Gogh maybe mostly because of his strong brushwork. You see an explosion of color coming off of here. It's amazing. There's so much energy, it's groovy, man. It's the 60s on a page.
That's what Peter Max is all about, and you could actually have a portrait made by Peter Max. We're going to tell you more and get an exclusive. Welcome back to Great Day Washington. I'm still here at the Wentworth Gallery in Tyson's Galleria, where you should come on Saturday, where you can meet probably the most famous living contemporary artist of his time. Peter Max is going to be here in the flesh, but for right now, we're getting an exclusive look at this gallery, going through all the pieces with a man who knows everything about Peter Max, it seems, and his paintings. So, Brian, thanks for doing that. We're hanging out, cheersing.
Yes.
Tell me about the artwork that's right behind us, the flowers.
That is a motion life of flowers. So what you have here are these big, beautiful brush strokes. Peter's using a World War II painting brush that was used to paint houses, and he's before the one layer is dry, he's putting on the next layer, and you see these beautiful stripes, candy stripes of color. He was inspired by his time in China as a young person, looking at the monks painting on scrolls. Really great. Beautiful piece.
And it does. It looks like the flowers are almost kind of blowing in the wind. Now, something that you told me about Peter that I didn't know about, maybe people don't know either, but his love for astronomy.
Yeah, you see here from his cosmic period in the 1960s, it's really far out. You have the stars, you have the clouds, you have the kind of crazy galactic figures, and it was his kind of homage. You know, Peter wanted to be an astronomer growing up. That's what he really wanted to do. He went to that crossroads in life. He thought he was going to be an astronomer, and then he ended up being an artist. So he carried that right into his artwork.
And he did that too with this more local kind of piece. Yes, you see Saturn and the planets and whatnot, but also, of course, you know, our cherry blossoms and the Washington Monument.
Right, and you have also the Cosmic Runner, though, jumping effortlessly through space. You have the Cosmic Flyer. You know, you have all this great 60s characters. It's almost like comic book characters of the era.
Tell me about the symbolism with that image, too, in particular.
That image is of one of the environment and of cherry blossoms, and so it's hearkening back to the idea of be more conscious about the world and about nature and communing with nature, and what better way to do that than the Cherry Blossom Festival? As
well as the fact that he was the artist for Cherry Blossoms in 2012, which was so cool. So I'm kind of like guiding Brian around this gallery. He's like, this is what I usually do, but I'm like, no, let's look at this picture first. Let's look at this painting next. Here's another one that's representative of the cherry blossom season that we just had.
Absolutely, and it's beautiful. It's of the tidal basin. We have there the Washington Monument rising above the trees. You know, they're puffy like clouds, but here you have it in all the beautiful Peter Max color. It's just explosion on the paper and the canvas again. It's exciting. There's all this energy to it. It's all these unusual juxtaposition of colors that Peter's so good at putting down on a canvas.
Okay, Lady Liberty, that is a famous artwork, but you have a really cool story about that.
Right. Peter has been painting one Statue of Liberty every year since 1976, since the bicentennial. So he has, you know, in New York Harbor, he's going out on a boat every 4th of July, and he's painting one more. So he's painting a lot of liberties at this point. I'm not very good at math, Megan, but he's painting a lot of liberties in very choppy waters there in New York Harbor. And so ever since, you know, the 80s, he was also spearheaded the movement to restore the Statue of Liberty. He worked very closely with Lee Iacocca and private parties to do that. He was the official artist of the project, and so that's why we have the Liberty heads from him. He's very patriotic. You know, Peter's known for his flags and liberties. He's just he did not grow up in this country originally. Right. He came here when he was 18. Most people don't know that. So he has the appreciation for this country and the patriotism that many people that maybe were born here do not have.
Of course. And I think that when we think of Peter Max, though, we do think of that Lady Liberty head. So cool. Okay, something that is literally right off of the canvas, or not off the canvas, rather, the easel, is this piece of artwork. I mean, it still smells a little bit of acrylic paint. That's how new it is.
Right. You have here a piece of Washington, D.C., the famous mall, right, with the Capitol building, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the mall. It's awesome. It's very fresh. It just got here. It's amazing. You can come here on Saturday night. You can see this, and you can enjoy this piece.
And nobody else has it. These fireworks are like unlike anything else. You are such a wealth of information. Can you tell us really quickly, we have 20 seconds, about this book, too?
This is the University of Peter Max book. It's the most latest book. It's very autobiographical. If you thought I knew a lot about Peter Max, this book knows more. You can take home a copy of this if you acquire a piece of work on Saturday or before here in the gallery, and he'll sign an autograph for you.
That is so cool. Peter Max, the most famous living artist of our time. So, again, you can see him on Saturday here at the Wentworth Gallery, Tyson's Galleria, as well as the one in Montgomery County. So hopefully you get a chance to meet him. And like Brian said, he is just an awesome guy. All right, back to you guys in the studio.
Well, thanks, Megan. And for more information about this Saturday's Peter Max shows at Westfield Montgomery Mall and the Tyson's Galleria locations of Wentworth Gallery, visit Wentworth Gallery.